My wife left me for a coworker, so I filed for divorce. Now he's accusing her of misconduct, and her job wants her to resign. Hello Reddit I plus here. The life I had built over 10 years crumbled on a sunny Friday afternoon. My wife Jenna sat me down with an emotionless expression and said the words that broke me. I've been seeing someone else. I think it's time we end this. The someone else turned out to be her coworker, Ryan. He was everything I wasn't. Smooth-talking, flashy, and single. She left the next day, moving into his downtown apartment. I won't lie, it hurt like hell. But once the shock wore off, I focused on moving forward. I filed for divorce within a week. No long, drawn-out fights. No begging or bargaining. She had made her choice, and I was making mine. With no kids and a clean-cut prenup, it was supposed to be straightforward. But life rarely plays out that simply. 2 months into our separation, a mutual friend, Amanda, called me. Her voice was hesitant, almost conspiratorial. You're not going to believe this, but Ryan is trying to get Jenna fired. What? Why? I asked, baffled. Amanda explained that Ryan had accused Jenna of workplace misconduct, claiming their affair had been inappropriate and unprofessional. This was ironic, given that he'd been just as involved. Apparently, rumors about their relationship had spread through the office, and HR had launched an investigation. I shouldn't have cared, but I couldn't help the grim satisfaction that bubbled up. Jenna had torched our marriage for this guy, and now he was throwing her under the bus. A week later, I bumped into Ryan at a local coffee shop. He didn't notice me until I was standing right in front of him. His smug demeanor faltered for a moment before he plastered on a forced smile. Hey man, how's it going? He asked, as if we were old buddies. Better than you, apparently, I replied. His face darkened, and he gestured for me to sit. I wasn't planning on staying, but curiosity got the better of me. She's a liability, he said bluntly. HR is breathing down my neck because of her. I leaned back, crossing my arms. She's the one who left me for you. What, the honeymoon phase already over? He sneered. She's clingy, dramatic, and can't keep her mouth shut. It's bad for business. I couldn't believe the audacity. You knew she was married and still pursued her. Now you're surprised she's dramatic? Ryan shrugged. Look, I made a mistake, but I'm not going to let her ruin my career. Days later, Jenna called me. Hearing her voice felt like reopening a barely healed wound. She sounded panicked, on the verge of tears. Alex, I need your help, she began. I almost laughed. Help? You're kidding, right? She explained that Ryan's accusations had escalated. HR was pressuring her to resign quietly to avoid a public scandal. Her reputation was in tatters, and she didn't know where to turn. Why are you calling me? Go to Ryan, I said coldly. He won't answer my calls, she admitted, her voice cracking. I sighed, torn between lingering anger and pity. Jenna, you made your choices. Now you have to live with them. As the weeks passed, the situation spiraled further out of control. Ryan's own skeletons began to surface. It turned out he had a history of manipulating coworkers, using them to climb the corporate ladder, and discarding them when they became inconvenient. Jenna's resignation didn't save him. HR decided to terminate him, citing a pattern of unprofessional behavior. It was poetic justice, really. I watched from the sidelines, detached but satisfied. Jenna had destroyed our marriage for a man who betrayed her as easily as he had betrayed me. One evening, as I was packing up my old house to move into a new condo, I found our wedding album buried in a box. For a moment, I felt a pang of sadness, but it quickly faded. That chapter of my life was over. Jenna called me one last time. She wanted to apologize, to explain, to seek closure. But I didn't need it. I've moved on, Jenna, I told her. I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for. 6 months later, I was in a much better place. I had a new job, a new home, and a fresh perspective on life. Jenna, on the other hand, was struggling. She had to take a lower-paying job in a different city, and the last I heard, she and Ryan weren't even speaking. Sometimes, life has a funny way of balancing the scales. Jenna's betrayal had shattered me, but it also forced me to rebuild stronger. And while I didn't wish her harm, I couldn't deny the satisfaction of knowing I had come out of this mess better than she ever expected. As for Ryan, well, let's just say karma has a way of catching up with everyone eventually.